Alright, today we're checking out another budget IEM, the CCZ Emerald. Let's talk about it. Behold the CCZ Emerald, which I got in green. It also comes in a few other colors. By the way, this was sent out to me for review, but this won't affect my review in any way, shape, or form. Also, this is going to be more of a gamer-focused review versus an audiophile review. Anyway, without further ado, we open up the box. We're met with some pretty nice packaging for a budget set of IEMs. Anyway, inside that box, you're going to get the IEMs, of course. You're going to get a braided cable, some extra ear tips of different sizes, and of course, paperwork. Starting with the cable, it's a pretty standard budget IEM cable, ending in an angled 3.5mm jack, with the cable itself being actually very nicely braided, to be honest, which then divides at a plastic splitter, which also has down the line a rubber chin slider. And if you opted for the version with a microphone, you get a single button inline microphone. Alright, now if you bought the version that came with the little inline mic, this little guy right here, this is how it's going to sound. And it honestly doesn't sound that bad, especially for like a budget cable on a set of budget IEMs. Noise suppression is just okay. Like, I'm not expecting a lot out of it, but the fact is it focuses more on my voice than the keyboard than I would expect from a budget set, so overall, it's not bad. Back to the cable, it ends in 2-pin connectors on pre-curled hooks. Now when it comes to the IEMs themselves, build-wise, it's quite surprisingly nice, as these plates here that are colored are actually made of metal, and while simple in design, the little notch with the little CCZ emblem is a nice touch, as it's a very nice, simple, and clean design that leads up to the 2-pin connectors. And if you can't tell by now, the rest of the housing is, of course, transparent, allowing us to see the dynamic and balanced driver inside each IEM. The nozzles that go into your ear canals are also made of metal, which furthers the durability of this IEM, and they of course have metal grills to keep the nasties out. Now something very interesting about these IEMs is that they have built-in fins, which are of course designed to help keep them in your ears and prevent them from slipping out. Now with all that being said, here's how they look like on my head. Fit-wise, it was pretty nice in my large-ish ears, being neither too big or too small, all while still feeling very secure in my ears thanks to the rubber fins as well as the ear hooks. Now if you're worried about how they physically look on your head, I think they look pretty decent. They're not like super big or anything, so you won't have to worry about them like sticking out the sides of your heads unless your like ears are super shallow or something. For most of you guys out there, I think your guys are gonna be okay. Now when it comes to the sound of the CCZ Emeralds, as I would expect, it has a warmer, funner sound, which is very normal with budget IEMs, but instead of focusing more on bass, these seem to have more of a focus on the mids and the highs. Now we still do get a pretty decent low end, as the bass is still very present. It has a very punchy, clean sound, and it is more punchy than it is boomy, but there still is a lot of body behind this punch, so it's not like an empty punch. It's like it's a forceful punch. Now the mids are a bit forward with a noticeably strong presence, with overall pretty decent clarity, and it blends in well into the highs. And the highs themselves are pretty bright, though they do get occasionally a little sharp and sibilant, but not too often, luckily. The highs are also forward along with the mids, and occasionally I do think they kind of fight each other a little bit for like I guess your attention, and the sound gets a little bit congested in that zone just a bit. And this might be due to the small soundstage, which is pretty normal in IEMs. And even then, despite all that, I still found them pretty enjoyable for games. Though I think for competitive games it was just okay, as the imaging was just okay. Like, it's okay for tracking attackers, but if I'm on the prowl hunting for people by sound, I'd prefer something a little bit more precise with a slightly larger soundstage so I can get a little bit more like sound separation. Interestingly, I found them to be a fun listen for less competitive, more like adventurous kind of games with the world and whatnot. The mids and highs presented like an interesting crispiness to like some environmental sounds, like the crunching gravel underneath my feet in the game, or like the breaking of shards of glass and ice. And the punchy bass kind of did the same thing at the low end, so explosions from like missiles and cannons still had a nice impact. I think these IEMs are best suited for a casual gamer who prefers a little bit more intensity in their sound, rather than a more relaxed, laid-back sound. Overall, the CCZ Emeralds have a warm and bright sound and do pretty decently in games. For the price, I think they're actually not bad at all, and with like the metal on the outside with the build, I think it's a pretty good buy. And if you're interested in buying them, I will have a link in the description. That's where I got it from. There are like other places you can get it from, so if you're interested, well, there's a link. And well, that's pretty much all I have for this today. So if this video did help you out, do leave me a like, and that'll help me out in this whole spammer YouTube space place. If you want to see more content, do subscribe for more, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting next. I'm also like streaming. I don't know about where I'll be streaming, but I'll leave a link down in the description in case you're interested in that. And also, do let me know, are you more interested in like budget IEMs, or are you guys also willing to pay for more for an IEM? I'm always trying to figure out how much people are willing to pay for an IEM. I don't know if I should make a poll for that. I might, but let me know, how much is the most you'd be willing to pay for an IEM? I'm gonna be asking this question across my next videos just to get an idea about that. But in the meantime, I have some IEMs lined up, so stay tuned for more. See you guys next time.